What's going on, everybody? Brad here, back with another video review for you guys. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Dino Rivals Battle at Big Rock Allosaurus. There's so much mystique surrounding this dinosaur here, from the new sculpt to the paint job, and of course that looming Battle at Big Rock logo on the bottom. You can't ignore all those different features and question a lot about what's going on here. So I am interested to see what the deal is with this figure, of course. But so far, all we have to review is this thing that's right in front of us. We can't judge it based off, some concept that we don't know about just yet. But I'm loving the way it looks in the box itself. You have the standard Dino Rivals look there in the background with the orange and the yellow. And of course, you have this like outlining bluish purple there that is very distinct and singles this out on the shelves with the rest of the figures. I love the way it looks. I think it stands out great against that backdrop. So this is a Dual Attack dinosaur, which features two motions up here and here. So yeah, that's cool. I mean, I like it. I would rather there be a Roarvar feature on there for something so big like this, but we just get the chomping and the arm strikes, but that's about it. So as far as the box is concerned, I'm looking at this picture here. You get what's going on with the arm strikes back there, but this one is a bit confusing to me. You can barely see the mouth moving, but, once you hit it, you know what's going on. So, as always with these Dino Rivals box, you do have the T-Rex facing off against the Triceratops, and lo and behold, there is no Owen. There is no Owen on this box. That is a miracle.
Hey, I'm down here.
What is that?
Psst, I'm over here.
What is going on?
Psst, look down here.
Where? What? Who is that?
Down by the dinosaur's tail.
What? Oh my God. What are you doing in here? Come on, why? Why are you in there?
Well, I figured since I wasn't on the package, I had to sneak my way here somehow.
No, man, you absolutely didn't.
Yeah, I did. Otherwise, you would have just ignored me, forgotten all about me and my 10 other Mattel figures.
I would not have forgotten about you. Please don't worry about that.
I heard you whispering in Mattel's ear, telling him to make other figures instead of me. Poor Owen.
Well, I mean, I did. I'm sorry. Yeah, I probably did say that.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add to that, or is that it?
No, that was about it.
Okay. All right. Well, see ya. Back to the review here. We do have a cool looking figure, I think, personally. I really enjoy this color, and I love the way it looks against that backdrop. I am interested in this sculpt. I don't know what to think about it necessarily, but I'm interested to take a closer look. But before we do that, let's go ahead and look at the back of this box. So you can see the motions there, the slashing action, and the chomp feature. I like the way that looks on the back, pretty interesting. You have a depiction down here of the Allosaurus just dominating that Coeloris down there. Over in the bottom left corner, you do have the Nasutoceratops and the Concavenator, that interesting looking paint job that I have not been able to bring myself to buy. I'm sorry, I just can't do it. But these three are usually packaged together in stores, so if you see one of them, usually all three of them were at least there at some point. This does contain a collector's card. It is a Dino Rivals figure, so you got the collector's card in there. Looks pretty decent from what I can tell so far. This is a Jurassic World Facts App dinosaur, so make sure to scan the bottom of this foot to add it to your collection. So what do you say we go ahead and dive right in? Alright, so here we have the collector's card for the Allosaurus. I do really enjoy that depiction, even though it looks like it's been heavily lifting some weights there in that one arm specifically. Man, this guy is jacked. But I do like that depiction. Pretty cool looking. You can see all the ridges along the top and the tail. In the background, you have like the bunker with the tower and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. I like that. As far as the skills go below, you have for strength, you have a 7. Not too bad. For speed, you have a 7. Also not pretty bad. The intelligence is not good. It's listed at a 3, and the aggression is an 8. So that is pretty good outside of that intelligence. If you could just maybe, you know, study or something, you know, like go to class, man. Stop skipping out. You're just not as smart as your other peers. So grab a book, man. But that equates to a 25. So not too bad overall, but could definitely use a boost there. And on the back, you do have the Dino Rivals logo and the Jurassic World logo. All right, so straight out of the box, this is the pose that you get when you set this thing down. I gotta say, I don't really love this low pose on a lot of these dinosaurs. I'm kind of getting tired of it, maybe. I think just so many of them have it, and you know, it's functional to a certain extent, but not for a ton of play. You know, I kind of want my dinosaurs to be up, taller, bigger, scarier, not necessarily always like prowling and just about to pounce. I kind of get it. I understand it. It's taking that like Velociraptor approach where, you know, it's stalking its prey and then it opens up its arms and goes in for the attack. That's kind of what you got here, but you know, of course you can move the legs and everything, but it's either standing tall up like that, or it's like this is just the main pose. But I guess you can't really help that. I don't know. Yeah, there's not really an in-between, it seems. There's that. That's a little but there, yeah, it just kind of falls, even though, yeah, I can't really get it to stand in that middle ground. But as far as like up here, it stands fine. But it just kind of looks a little silly when it's up high like that, I think. Maybe it's the proportion of this dinosaur per se, but it could be that alone. So let's go ahead and pose it this way. So taking a close look at the paint job first, I like what's going on here. You have this very bright blue up here in the top, fading down, and it gets kind of dull here in the midsection, and then instantly changes into this darker blue, which was not something I initially grasped when I first saw this thing online. So I like that nice transition there. Of course, it's very wild and scattered. Not really much sense as to what the paint job is doing, but I kind of appreciate it. I kind of like it. And you have that, like, whoops. Let's attribute that more to the table than the actual figure. But you have that base color underneath, that tan. So really not much going on down there, just like a speckled tan. The tongue itself is pretty interesting. It's a very dark blue. So I love that. I think that's a nice feature for this thing. Of course, the hands, the claws are not painted, like pretty much all the other figures. But the nails down below are, so pretty good there. So one thing to note here about the tail is the paint just kind of stops, right? I mean, it just ends there, and that's about it. So not my favorite thing, and it's obviously due to the fact that there is, you know, a joint, or not a joint, but like a separation there. I do really like the sculpt on this thing. I think there's a lot going on here. It pretty much... it's interesting because this is so wildly different from the counterpart, the other Allosaurus that was released. But it actually features a lot of the same sculpting on this figure. So it's not something that you notice right away, but when you look a little bit closer comparing the two, you can see a lot of the same, you know, corresponding body parts there. So I appreciate that, and I think that was maybe done on purpose. Maybe it saved them some money. I don't really know. I would say the only slight difference is while the sculpt looks pretty darn close, you know, there's definitely some differences there in size, at least. You know, the body itself looks a little bulkier in this version than the other version, so that's pretty interesting. And of course, like, the arms and everything are a little bit different. The feet and legs might be a little bit different there. And the head is just wildly different. So one thing that I know a lot of people are complaining about is the stature of this thing. You know, how big it is up top, and maybe top heavy it might be. And then the tail is just so small, you know, and it just kind of goes nowhere. Looks a little snub-tailed, which I agree with. It certainly is a little weird in that sense. But I'm not really going to complain about that too much because I think it's a very cool looking creature. Certainly something that I would love as a kid, I think. I think I would probably pick this over a lot of the other ones just because it's so vibrant and vivid. So it's pretty cool to me. I like the yellow eye in there. Very, much stands out against the rest. I know I've showcased a few items recently where the eye was almost non-existent. So this one is standing out bright and beautiful there. So yeah, but you can see there's a lot going on in the sculpt. The ribbing up here in the neck. The head itself is just crazy. There's so much going up here with these ridges, these crests above the eyes, and even in there around the eyes. The mouth itself kind of extends out a little bit. There's so much going on. And of course the addition of the spine, or the spikes going down the spine of the dinosaur, so that's pretty interesting. Very different than the incarnation we saw before. So I like this thing. I think it's pretty cool. It's certainly a bit interesting in size and scope of this thing, but I'm able to forgive that because I like how it looks mostly. All right, I'm going to mess around with the functions, the attack functions here, so we can see the dual attack in motion. So you have the chomping feature up here. Let me get a little bit closer for you. That's a pretty good feature. I like that. And that's it when it's fully held down. Looks really cool. I really, really dig that. That's awesome. And you can see, look how much detail there is on that nose. That's awesome. Very cool. I'm really digging that. But yeah, it looks good, I think, in motion. And it's a nice playable feature. Feels strong enough. And then the back is the arm strikes, which is an interesting one. It's always an interesting motion when they put that on there. They've been doing it a lot with a lot of the recent items, and I guess it's useful-ish in battle with the slashing features, but I don't know. I would mostly go for like the head attack if I'm playing, with my toys. I would mostly be using that instead of this, and maybe I would switch back and forth a little bit, but can you get them both at the same time? Yeah, there you go. Hey! Clap, 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 clap. Yeah, I'm a little crazy here. But, that's about it. I mean, it looks pretty good, I think, from most angles. I have no issues with it, really, as far as the paint is concerned. But let's go ahead and compare it to some other dinosaurs and figures. So here you can see how wildly different it is compared to the other Allosaurus. They look nothing alike. They look absolutely nothing alike. This one more so represents what you see in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Slightly different here and there, but I think it's very hard to say. I think I might like this old representation a little bit more, especially because it is a Roarivore. And I do love those features there. I think that sounds pretty great. One of my favorite items. When I first saw this thing, this was an instant buy. I think this was in my initial pickups for the Fallen Kingdom toy line. So this is always going to be one of my favorites. I really appreciate this, but I still think I'm going to like that one a little bit more. That one does also have the blue tongue in there as well. But you can see, like, when you look at the body sculpt here, when I actually raise this up a little bit, you can see how similar they are. But yeah, you can see specifically with the lighting here, you can see this vein that kind of goes along the bottom. You've got the same ribbing there on the side, even the 2 slash marks. The creasing here on both of them, exactly the same. Even the necks themselves, up until like about this point, like I said, aside from this one maybe being bulked up, they're exactly the same. Even the legs, let's take a look at the legs. You have this same pattern here. The feet look identical there. The same creasing in the legs, same scratch marks in the legs. So it's interesting because they basically went from here, changed everything out because the bottom jaw is different, the top of the head is different. Obviously they had to expand, I guess, the body itself, like the cavity, because of the features in here. Instead over here you just have a little bit of electronics in there, but I guess they had to get the mechanics in there for these 2 attack features. The arms, let's see, let's motion this one down a little bit. I didn't really take a look at the motion, but you guys get it. The arms are they might be identical as well. Yeah, it seems like they're pretty much the exact same arm there too. So, I don't know. I mean, let's take a look at the tail. The tail is definitely different. when comparing these two. So this one has a big curve on it, and the other one does not. It's much more straight. But as far as, let's see, you know what? I kind of take that back, because maybe this one is the same tail, but just repositioned, because there's, sorry, I'm like holding these all ridiculous, but there's 2 slash marks there, there's 2 slash marks there. You have this ribbing here on the bottom that goes along the side, and same thing over here. So I'm thinking this might be the same tail as well. So it's interesting. It's a little bit repositioned differently. So you have the slash marks before the spinning motion here. On this one does not spin, but the slash marks go across that part there. So interesting how they set them up, just a tad different, but identical for the most part, which is something I didn't really expect when I saw these two figures. I kind of thought this would be a little bit bigger, but not really, just a tad. So who do you think's gonna win the battle at Big Rock? I don't know. We're gonna have to fight over. Should we fight over Owen? Maybe he should be like the spectator slash like the prize, the trophy prize at the end of everything. I can't even get him. There he goes. He's standing up. He's gonna fall instantly. Ready? The fight begins. So, in this case, the Allosaurus lost. Owen gets the ride home on his prize.
I'm out of here. I knew I stuck around for a reason. See ya.
So there you have it. That is our look at the Allosaurus. Very interesting creature, interesting design, scaled up a little bit from the previous version. I like that color design there and the color choices, but the body is a little bit weird how it's all scaled and you know, shorter tail and the big head and all. I can let that slide though, because I appreciate this figure. I kind of like it. So if you guys like this one, let me know in the comments below. If you don't like it, also let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and enjoy.